Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of 6 for 6, Season 2, Episode 14 of this glorious program here on the MI6 Sports Network. We got some good events coming for you this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. To kick us off, we have opening day in Major League Baseball happening Thursday. So I got, one game that I've been eyeing up. It's a classic rivalry. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll figure out that as we get to number one. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, we got to make sure we recap last week's record and how I did in my picks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the worst weeks that I had in picks to date for this program. It's one of the times that I will never want to see again in this program's history. Ladies and gentlemen, last week's record is 1-5. What an embarrassing record. Everything that I had picked went the complete opposite except for one game. So tune into last week's episode to figure out which game was correct out of the games that I got wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Something, some playback in there to help you figure out which games I did well, which games I didn't do well. So, you can kind of figure out those out of that. But that kind of puts my overall record into this, ladies and gentlemen. With 78 games that we've selected so far, on 6 for 6, we only have 38 correct and 40 that were incorrect. Not the best numbers. Obviously, we want to keep these losses to a minimum, but we're going to do our very best to keep that 40 as there and keep getting every game right if physically possible in 6 for 6. With that, before we go into that, we got some comments coming in. Kirsty Wilson saying hello. Thank you for tuning in. Well, let's get this program started in the 6th spot. We got some men's college baseball in the spirit of opening day in the world of Major League Baseball. We got to throw some baseball in there, some softball in here in the mix. So definitely great matchup to start off. You can catch this game, Friday on April 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the ACC network, ladies and gentlemen. That's where you can catch this game between number 3 in the nation, Virginia, versus number 8, ladies and gentlemen. For some of these games, I don't have statistics to help pull and back up my supporting on my picks. But based off some of these rankings and somehow these teams performed this year, my safe bet is going to be Virginia taking care of this victory. And that's going to be all I have on this one because I don't really have statistics to defend my evidence on this one since the college baseball seasons and softball seasons have just gotten underway. So I really can't formulate who's the better team right now. With that, we got our comment coming in. And Kirsty Wilson's going to go with Virginia on this one. Next up in the 4th spot, and in the 5th spot, we got some NBA on this one. We got the Knicks versus the Nets tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. Great matchup between the Battle of New York, ladies and gentlemen. But looking at this lineup, it's not the best. I could say the Knicks would have the upper hand with a lot of the Nets guards being out in this picture. But if you look at the series so far, the Brooklyn Nets have not lost. If you look at the last time they played each other, the Brooklyn Nets won by 3, and then they end up winning by 5, and they end up winning by 2. So it's going to be a relatively close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nets lose. But, ladies and gentlemen, they have a lot of guards being out, like Seth Curry and Ben Simmons, 2 of the key players being out. But for the New York Knicks, they're missing Derrick Rose and other, forwards as well. So as you can see, a lot of missing stuff, but the Nets are really missing their guards in this one. So that's where you're going to get a close game. But I think the Brooklyn Nets will take care of business and win this one. With that, with the Battle of New York, Kirsty Wilson is going to go with the New York Knicks to win this one. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have the 4th spot, which is some women's softball. Number 4, Alabama versus number 6, Florida in women's college softball. You can catch this game Saturday, April 9th at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time on ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, this I would say is a great match between these two schools in softball. I saw a little bit of Alabama's in the Women's World Series building up in the playoffs. Definitely a solid team ranking the 4th spot, but I know it's early on in the season, but I'm feeling with Florida with the upset on this one. just because they're hungry. Early start to the season, and I think Florida can get it done here, ladies and gentlemen. Kirstie Wilson's also picking Florida. Next up in the third slot, we got back to some NBA. Tomorrow, we got the Celtics and the Bucks. Tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on TNT. Ladies and gentlemen, I think with how this is going to unfold, Giannis Antetokounmpo is still day to day through this. I don't think they're going to be rushing to get him back because obviously the NBA playoffs are looming. So they may take, let him rest up less minutes. So this is why I'm going to favor the Boston Celtics to win this one. I don't think there's necessary need to play Giannis unless they're trying to move up in seeding, but at the same time, it's just who they want to play in the playoffs and what kind of road they want to take so they can do some appropriate load management for Giannis Antetokounmpo on this one. And Kirstie Wilson is probably going to select the Bucks on this one, ladies and gentlemen. With that, we're going to go into our 2 slot, ladies and gentlemen. Back to women's college softball. Some fantastic. Virginia Tech, who's the fifth in the nation, versus Florida State, who's the third in the nation. You can catch this game Friday, April 8th. Wednesday, women's college softball at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on the ACCX. It's almost like their ESPN Plus type of thing like that, but you can catch that on the ACC network, I would say, on that one, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going with Florida State. They were in the Women's World Series last year, played Oklahoma relatively good, forced them to, game 3 in that series, though they couldn't pull it out. But definitely this Florida State team is nothing to joke around with a lot of good players. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida State take care of the business. They did a lot of steals and a lot of bunts, a lot of short fields. They're a team that doesn't, hit the home runs like Oklahoma was last year with ridiculous amount of batting average that Oklahoma had. But Florida State is a team that was stealing bases during last season. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to that same game strategy against Virginia Tech. And that's why I'm leaning more towards on Florida State in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. And Kirstie Wilson is going to go with Florida State. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it takes us to our final game of the night. Nice short program. Like I said, it didn't have a lot of stats to break down, but a short, easy, light program. But since we have opening day coming up in Major League Baseball, what rivalry can you, start this season off with on the right note? Put in the comments of what you think it is, but I'm going to reveal it, ladies and gentlemen. The pick that is going to be the number one is the Red Sox and Yankees, getting us started in the Major League Baseball season. You can catch this, one of the earliest season. I know they start, I believe, Thursday when that series really gets underway. But to really see it televised, you can see it firsthand, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, April 9th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on FS1. And you can also catch that game on Sunday as well on ESPN at 7, I believe, p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific on ESPN for the Sunday game. But we're looking at the Saturday game because that's the first televised of this game. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go with the Red Sox in this one. I know the Yankees have been going up and down, but I think the Red Sox squad this year is going to be able to be dominant and be able to, show up the Yankees for the run for their money, how big these two franchises are. But it's definitely going to be a great classic matchup, a great clash of the Titans. And I think the Red Sox are going to be able to pull it out. I like that we were able to build a great 6-for-6 list. A lot of good matchups this week, like we try to do here on this program, give you the 6 best sporting events of this week. So you're not bored over the weekend trying to figure out what do I watch. 6-for-6 is the program for you to find the best 6 sporting events to watch this week. With that, we'll do a quick recap of all the sporting events that we have in 6-for-6, and that will conclude tonight's program. And Kirstie Wilson's obviously going to pick her Red Sox on this one. But with the quick recap of tonight's program, easy in, easy out like we do here on this network. We're going to start here in the 6th spot. We got Virginia versus Miami, and I believe I have Virginia winning this one. Next up in the Battle of New York, you have the New York Knicks and the New York Nets, the Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific on ESPN, and I'm going to go with the Nets. Next up, we have women's college softball, number 4, Alabama, number 6, Florida. You can catch this game Saturday, April 9th, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on ESPN. Next up in the third slot, we got the Celtics and the Bucks tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on TNT, and I have the Celtics taking care of business. Next up, we have Virginia Tech, who's fifth in the nation, versus Florida State, who's the third in the nation. You can catch this Friday, April 8th, women's college softball, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time on the ACC network, ladies and gentlemen, because they threw in the X. I don't know what the X stands for, but that's where you can find it. And then the number one game of the week, ladies and gentlemen, Red Sox Yankees, 7 on Saturday, April 9th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time on FS1, and I have the Red Sox winning it. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you a quick reminder of the record. Worst record that we had in 6 for 6 history, going 1-5 in picking, kind of hurt us there, making us having another losing record again, being 38 and 40 right now. Obviously, we want to keep that 40 low, but we're getting closer to 100 games pick here on 6 for 6. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have 78 games that we have selected here on 6 for 6 over the course of season 2. Definitely going to be something interesting to watch to see how we conclude season 2 of 6 for 6. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that will be it for tonight's program. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy all the sporting events that we have this week. Take care. For so long, everybody. Take care for now. Bye-bye.